Well, hello, my beautiful Pisces. Welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with your twin flame reading for the end of July, right through the end of August 2025. I've already cleansed your space and I've meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretending to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, you may notice the Gaia chimes have been reinstated, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound, okay? So let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Pisces, this is your twin flame reading for those twins who are currently in separation. The first pile will be your pile, the second pile will be your person's pile, and the third pile is the unified energy of how things are going to come together. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but the Gaia chimes, when it went over this deck in particular, went very silent each time. Okay, so this deck obviously contains something that's going to really make you think, or something that perhaps you are very thoughtful of. I do want you to be mindful that if anyone is mentally, physically, or emotionally abusive towards you, that is not a twin flame connection. That is more likely to be a false flame connection, and that, of course, will drain you of your beautiful love and waste your wonderful time. False flames, of course, they trigger you in relationships without any spiritual growth on either side. So no sudden desire to focus on your sense of purpose. You know, it just keeps going round and round in circles and nothing happens, and a person just comes in, takes the best of you, and leaves. Okay, there is a difference between twin flames. You know, twin flames, they are, of course, magnetic. It's a very intense bond. It's an otherworldly experience. You can't stop thinking about your person. It's almost obsessive at the very beginning, but both parties trigger each other in order to discover their true sense of purpose and embrace unconditional love. Now, of course, when you meet your twin, both of you know that you've met each other. You know you've met your twin, or you know you are connected by a frequency that is unexplainable. It's almost like obsessively thinking about each other, drawn to each other, but also there is this push and pull energy. And, you know, although the relationship is very physical and intense in nature at first, you know, the twin flame experience is more of a spiritual awakening rather than an actual physically romantic relationship. Now, that's very hard to fathom, but it tends to be a process that prepares us to release low vibrational energy that keeps either party either stuck in fear, addictive patterns or cycles, or even unhealthy attachments. And it's a very intense inner vibrational transformation that occurs between both people independently, but it is a journey, and a personal journey of discovery at that, and it is something that must be done alone, and that's why there tends to be a runner, a chaser, and a separation period. Now, both parties trigger each other in order to discover the true life purpose and embrace unconditional love for self, and only then can there be a reunion process that takes place and be sustainable. Now, of course, it is a formed sacred union, which is the result often of shared difficulty and pain. And you may notice that you or your twin have had very similar experiences, or at least similar life lessons, not identical, but very similar. And, your twin actually reflects back to you your greatest weaknesses as well as your greatest strengths. So it is a mirrored experience. You may have often heard the term mirrored energy in a twin flame dynamic. It basically means that when you look at your twin, you're looking at all the stuff within you that is being amplified that you experienced before you even met your twin. Fears, codependency, trust issues, any self-loathing, all of the stuff. You're looking at the stuff within you that gets magnified so that you can process it, finally heal it, and let go of it. And of course, your divine counterpart is also doing the same. Now, there tends to be, as I mentioned, a runner, a chaser, and a separation period. That's not always the case, but it tends to be typical to form. Now, the chaser sees all the stuff within themselves, and they are willing to be vulnerable in the relationship. They are willing to accept the depth of love that is on offer in a twin flame dynamic. And the runner, of course, looks in that mirror, sees all the things within themselves that they've been avoiding their whole life, running away from, and they push their twin away because they tend to not want to accept. They have to take the journey, which means going through a personal journey of discovery, really sorting through the mud of life, their experiences, in order to process and heal. So they avoid, they deny their feelings, and they project all their energy onto their twin. It is a projected experience. So they push away out of fear, because that means they have to face themselves. They have to be their true authentic self, drop the ego, and really discover who they are without that ego. There's many different layers of ego, of course, but it is a process, and their presence is to amplify areas to promote healing and, of course, transformation. And, your part of this journey, my beautiful Pisces, is also to be that catalyst for change for them as well, because you're holding up that mirror to them of who they truly are, their hopes, their fears, their intense desires, and their faults. We all have them. So this is a very exposing relationship, and that's why it tends to make people really hesitant to take the journey of life and love with their twin, because they can't hide. You can see the very depth of your twin's soul without even words. You're not assuming, you can just feel it. It's an energetic exchange. Now, often twins have fear, insecurity. They don't believe that they are worthy of love. And that tends to be the runner who feels that. They feel that they will either mess things up, so they run away. They push back because they feel it's better to not involve their twin in their chaos, as it were. So please apply it to your situation. This is a typical dynamic, not always the case. There's normally a root cause, but twins often feel that unconditional love is too good to be true, because either they've never experienced it before, or they thought they did and then they got hurt. There's often an abandonment issue in a twin flame dynamic as well there, okay? And of course, these are all things that need to be looked at and healed within a twin flame union. Now, the twin flame also has to do with our idea of what love looks like, okay, based on our personal experiences. So if there has been some sort of traumatic experience in love, or you witness parents or guardians divorcing in childhood, these can all be factors in a relationship experience, and they can shape who we are and how we operate in love, okay? So it's a culmination of life experiences and life wounds that can create unhealthy behaviors, triggered responses, unhealed responses as well. So there is a reprogramming that goes on in a twin flame dynamic. It's an awakening. So whilst, twins will push back, it's because they need the space to redefine themselves without the fear and the trauma. Okay, trauma is the experience that is left after the event. It's something that remains in the very soul, core, bones of you until it is processed or redefined. And it is something that, of course, shapes our reality, but it should not impede our future happiness. So a lot of tough dynamics. That's a bite-sized idea of what it means to be in a twin flame dynamic. The twin flame's job is to illuminate the shadows. So we can see what is preventing us from loving ourselves fully, but also needing to peel back the layers so we can accept love. Twin flames are moving towards acceptance, towards self-love, towards compassion and understanding, not just for the other person, the other twin, but for ourselves. Okay, so with that in mind, let's get to your energy. You have the Tower. This shocked you to your core. A lot of you are doing some rebuilding. Okay, the Tower indicates that you were stuck in a cycle of repeat with this person, but I feel like you're not doing this anymore. It got to a position at one point, because I felt in the energy of your Gaia chimes when I was doing them, it's like there was this kind of like comfortable energy at first, but then suddenly something changed and it felt like it was completely out of rhythm. Okay, and I feel you wanted to get back into that rhythm, but actually you're going through this period of, how can I put, driving out the old in order to embrace a new platform to allow a healthy love to come on in. So, it literally says here revelation, but it is the Tower energy. So you're receiving a lot of downloads, okay, a lot of information. You may feel your twin, even though you're not with them. You may feel, with that Five of Swords, they're always on your mind. You may also feel that this person sabotaged the connection. Self-sabotage is something that comes from a previous hurt. But also, I feel this is about you breaking down your walls. You really let this person in. You may have even moved in with this person or thought you would marry this person, get engaged, or all of those things, because, with that Four of Wands energy, this can indicate that deep down you really want to reunite with this person, that you felt an affinity. You thought you were stable in something that you were building. But the reality of the situation, because, of course, the Tower can be a reality check, can also be like a sudden wake-up call. Something started to crumble there, and it made you feel like that you were not on safe ground there. It was very sudden. So I'm sending you a huge hug out there and so much love. Looking at your person, they're aware that their actions caused the demolition almost of this relationship. And I feel this person is aware that their actions have consequences. The Fool card can indicate that they felt there was like an undercurrent of threat, okay, something that was blossoming. This person tends to look for the fly in the ointment in life, is what I'm seeing. So that can be that they never feel safe in a relationship, and we got to get to the root cause of that. The Fool card often means it's from the very foundation of them that they experienced either parents or guardians divorcing or had a very turbulent upbringing, and their first witness, as it were, as what love means there's like an undercurrent of like someone could leave. We've got the Lovers card here as well. This is how they feel about you. You're very playful, very fun. They know that you are their twin. They got the Lovers card, okay? Also, with the Justice card there, it can indicate they know that they have a soul contract with you and have thought about marriage. And maybe that's where the fear lies, but we'll get to that in a moment. I feel also there's this energy of reaching for the great love experience means that they feel that they would be on a high, because I'm seeing a ladder right now. It's like the higher you are, the harder you fall. That's what I'm being given by this person's energy. So I feel when they were with you, they were really like high on life, and they thought, okay, this is not sustainable, and this is based on their previous experiences. So I feel this person, when they met you initially, they had no intention of falling in love. The Fool card is very much like no ties, let's see how it goes. I'm just here for an adventure, and, I'm just having fun. There's a lot of potential there, but then suddenly the Lovers card is like, oh, I caught feelings, and then suddenly it's like, I need to adjust my life in order to create space for this love, and I feel this person cut ties. But I feel with you, my beautiful Pisces, you're going to shock this person by potentially turning them down on a reunion, because I do see here that there is a gaping wound. I mean, you got the Five of Swords, so this can indicate that you're trying to leave this person in the past, but they're always on your mind. You're blossoming despite the destruction of this relationship, but also I feel this energy of some of you, maybe not all of you, but there's a really strong energy that you have been hurt in the past before you even met your twin, okay? And I feel because you have the Tower there, I feel like you were in a period of protecting your heart. And this is before you even met your twin. Okay, I feel like there was a bit of a barrier there, and it was really hard to break down the walls to allow this person fully in. Don't get me wrong, I feel like they got in deep, right? I feel like you have a lot of love for this person. You saw your future with this person, but also there's this energy here of playing your cards close to your chest, or feeling like there was a tumultuous energy, a vulnerability. My guides just said it was vulnerability. You felt vulnerable in this connection at the very core of you. You realized you were building something with this person. However, something may have been on your mind, and it may be that they told you something about their past, and your thought process was maybe like, oh, they could do this again, because, you know, the Tower indicates a cycle repeat, or something that gets played out day to day that you get stuck in. So you may feel that either you're stuck in a rut with this person, that it's just the same old thing, just a different day, and nothing ever changes. And for example, when they come in, they leave. But you may also feel that something that they told you, because swords are all about communication, about the mind, maybe something that they told you that you thought, oh, this person could do this again. So I'm just going to give you an idea. If someone said, yeah, I was with this person and they did this one thing, and then I thought, you know what, I can't deal with that, I'm leaving. And you're like, oh my gosh, I do that thing. Does that mean they're going to leave me? And I'm just giving you a very like vague kind of indication of what I mean by that. But it can be that something set you thinking, and it kind of like made you feel very protective, because I feel a step back in this. But let's get to your energy right now, because the Tower can indicate right now you're rebuilding after separation with this person, which of course is a rite of passage. Looking at the energy here, I feel both of you are learning. You know, you're downloading lots of information about yourself that may even shock you, about certain things that played out in your past that you have felt have now been amplified for you to really start digging through the stuff. Experiences that you had before you met your twin. And, you know, if you think about the nature of the Tower is receiving higher frequencies. You know, a lightning bolt tends to strike the top of the tower, okay, which is a sudden frequency change. When you elevate in frequency, this can indicate that you're breaking down all that was before. It can indicate that suddenly you're seeing things that have played out in your life for a long time, like overgiving, for example, trust issues, or for some of you, it can be that you don't get past a certain stage in a relationship. So please apply it to your situation. But also, I'm being given this energy that right now you're protecting yourself. The Tower is to isolate. So it can be that you feel very alone in this connection right now. You gave so much of yourself. It was so fun. The Four of Wands indicates that both of you, you know, very creative people. You know, there's a lot of depth there, friendship as well. There was a foundation of something. And I feel for you that you got in a little bit too deep or a little bit too close to this person. And I feel that suddenly, you know, this person got really strict with themselves, or, I mean, the Justice card can also indicate that they were going through something legal at the time, and they felt a responsibility to that. So they could have been going through a divorce or a separation, for example, when they first met you. It feels like they were not expecting to find love based on some sort of responsibility, because this can be a responsibility card. It can indicate that something caused this person to suddenly disconnect. So we're going to have to find out what that is. But the Tower is like you are limiting your access to this person. It's like you're being stricter with yourself. You may actually have this desire to reunite deep down, but of course it causes fear, it causes tension. It's like, well, what if it happens again? This is a need to protect oneself from a cycle of repeat. So I feel like you're breaking down the cycle. It feels very much like you're ending that cycle. And I feel there is this energy of some of you like, I can't do this anymore. It's too much. It's too hard. But it feels all-consuming. I mean, your desire, of course, the Four of Wands, is to reunite. That's what this card means. So a lot of you would like to see your person again. However, actions speak louder than words, and you need actions from this person to show that you would be on safe ground to explore a relationship further with this person. But right now with the Tower, you don't see that that's a safe environment for you. You don't feel that you can trust this person because once bitten, twice shy. And I feel there's this energy here of liberation. Liberating yourself from the prison of the twin flame mindset in order to focus on more creative endeavors, to focus on your sense of purpose there. And that is the purpose of the twin flame dynamic. I always describe twin flames like magnets, you know, both identical in polarity. The frequencies are the same. So even though you're two separate people, you share an identical frequency at the very core of you that matches with only your twin, nobody else. Okay, it is a frequency that is unique to you and your person, and that's why you're so drawn to this person. Even though you may feel like you shouldn't be, there is this magnetism, and they feel the same. But when you have two magnets that are identical, you know, they push and pull. They attract each other, but also repel. They want to be with each other, but the space in between prevents them. That is all the stuff that needs to be processed, because if you think about those magnets, you know, they attract and repel. If this magnet changes its frequency by focusing on unconditional love for self or putting all that energy into your own path, prioritizing your own needs and developing self-love unconditionally and, you know, focusing on your sense of purpose, that changes this frequency and then this magnet comes closer. But it also gives this magnet, let's say this is the runner, it gives the opportunity for them to step up or step out, because this magnet also has to change their frequency so that you can come together in a match, okay? So I feel right now both of you are going through some radical changes. This card indicates a major change for you, an ego death, you know, going through the shadow self. This is an energy here of being really like real with yourself. You may feel that this relationship has caused a lot of chaos, and there's almost an estrangement there as well. It's like, how can I be apart from this person yet still feel them? How can I still feel their presence? Was this a twin flame dynamic? Is this a false flame? Is this even real? Because this is a card of shattering illusions. So you may be questioning a lot right now, going, am I just imagining that there were feelings in this and then suddenly I've been left alone? This can be that you were abandoned in this connection. But you are dealing with your twin, and both of you are learning a lot in different areas of your life in order to find your way back towards each other. Now, the Four of Wands, of course, as I mentioned, is a card of wanting to reunite, but also it is a card of coming home to self, okay? So you may be spending time with friends or family or soul tribe members, trying to go out there and have fun. The Five of Swords, this person is always on your mind. The wound is still deep, but you're mending, okay? But I also feel a lot of you are mending from something else as well. Okay, and this is where you find your way home to self so that you can create a change of vibration and come back together in unison, as it were, but not quite vibrationally the same, so that you can connect this time. The space in between is preventing you from being together. And I always say, do not wait for your twin, because of course they have a process. They could take days, weeks, months, years, decades to find their way home to self in order to change the frequencies and really step up to be emotionally available. And I feel it's important to recognize that you should never wait for that. Get busy living. And I feel a lot of you with that Four of Wands, that's you, getting busy, having fun, trying to have fun. But of course, it is going to be a process with that Five of Swords, which means, you know, you're leading with integrity. And there's an energy here of having a different way of thinking. You are kind of like almost saying, well, what will be, will be. You're still hurt. You're still mending. This figure here is like their heart has been ripped out. But this person is like a new person, like blossoming there. So I feel like there's an echo of the relationship that still comes back towards you to haunt you sometimes. But I feel like you're moving forward despite this experience in order to blossom. And that is the point of the twin flame dynamic. You know, often destiny, you know, our guides step in to separate twins on purpose because you have a mission. And if you didn't, you know, focus on that sense of purpose and you just got caught up in each other because it is an all-consuming relationship, then of course, you know, the twin flame dynamic becomes a distraction. So it's important to be independent when you are going through this personal journey of discovery. And, sometimes people say, why don't twins just say how they feel? And I know from a position that when I met my twin, I was a runner. I'd been previously very broken down and a shell of myself when I first met my twin. And some of you may have actually felt that way when you first met your twin. You went through something traumatic before you met your twin. And it was almost like you were dealing with a past hurt, trying to mend from that, trying to blossom. But at the same time, your twin came in, and then it was just like chaos. There was this push and pull, this magnetism, and suddenly you repeated a cycle. The twin will amplify a cycle that has not been healed until it's healed. So, people who've had experiences of trauma, they kind of need time to step back and acknowledge or be aware of where the wound is or the damage is so they can, process it. They find it hard to resolve it within themselves. They need to step back to give themselves space to accept. So, that's when a twin will separate in order to, be their authentic self and face the stuff. And divine intervention will occur if a twin is not doing that, is just avoidant. So when I broke up with my karmic, shall we say, I launched myself into partying. Lots and lots of partying. I didn't realize, because I was immature, that I was avoiding the feelings. I was just numbing the pain. Okay, and then suddenly the universe sent in my twin, and I was like, what is this? I was broken by somebody else. This is more intense. I am not getting involved in that. And I put the brakes on. I wanted to tell my twin that I loved them. I wanted to scream them mountaintops, like I found real love. This is something that is like otherworldly. However, I was scared. Okay, so I felt unlovable. I felt like I wasn't worthy of love because someone had already rejected me, and the whole experience broke me into tiny, shattered little pieces. And I'm only mentioning this because some of you may have gone through that before you met your twin, and you're like, this is happening again? What? What? So there's a lesson. When we repeat a cycle, there is a lesson. And until we break the spell, which you're doing right now, you're breaking the cycle. Only then can you change the frequency and come together in a union with your person. But people who have had previous hurts or trauma, they learn certain coping mechanisms, okay? They have unhealed responses that they play out in their whole life. So I feel you and your person have had experiences of hurt in the past, and there has been some sort of triggered response that has gone on in this connection that has sprung you apart, as it were, and all of a sudden. So I feel a lot of you are leaving the familiar right now. And this is where you can actually embrace the extraordinary love that is offered between twins when they can make it work and come together. Because the Ten of Cups indicates that you and your person can be truly happy, but it is about finding that balance, that delicate rhythm to be back into sync with, as it were. But the Two of Pentacles can also indicate that there is an energy of inconsistency, in and out. Now, again, don't shoot the messenger, but I feel a lot of you have withdrawn your energy, your time, your investment and energy into this twin flame because you're so broken down by it. You're trying to celebrate yourself, prioritize your own needs, focus on your family, your responsibilities at this time, and you're trying to make this person right now a distant memory. You didn't want to have to be like that, but you felt like you were forced into that because the tower is normally thrust upon us. We don't choose the tower. I mean, sometimes we do, but it has to get to that highly pressurized state where we're like, something has to change. And you feel like something has to change, so you're being that catalyst for change. Five of Swords, some of you may be overthinking it. Am I making the right decision by completely isolating from this person or cutting them out? Because I feel it's almost like this person still has a piece of you, but actually you're whole all by yourself. You may be putting pieces of yourself back together, but it is there when life breaks you or an experience breaks you that you become a different person and you put those pieces back differently with higher boundaries. You teach a person how to come towards you. Every piece of you that feels shattered finds a new place to reside in and has new purpose and meaning. And this is where, the light gets in. through the cracks. This is where the frequency is getting in for you, where you're healing, you're embracing light, and you are a new person. So you're going to have a new response. And this is going to shock your person, because looking at their energy, with you withdrawing, I mean, fives are very thoughtful. Fives are feeling like, you know what, I don't have this. I never had it. It's too hard. You feel overlooked in some way. You feel like you need to have a different way of responding and open up to the opportunity that things are as they are right now, and you've let everything fall as it were. You were holding it all together before, and now it's like, I can't do this anymore. You've dropped the hot potato, and that's exactly what you were meant to do in the twin flame dynamic. Because the chaser is meant to put all that energy inwards. So now you're deeply reflective. Swords are all about thought. And I feel like you're creating a foundation of stability in your life, trying to do more things that you are excited by. Connect to your sense of purpose, spend time in good company, and focus on what brings you joy, to harmonize your life, to celebrate yourself and take pleasure in the present moment, as well as do all of the healing. It's a lot. Spiritual awakenings are like a major foundational earthquake, as it were. So I feel like you've been through that, and I'm sending you a huge hug out there and so much love. But this is where you're the catalyst for change. And this is where your person feels that cause and effect of their actions. It repercusses throughout their life. It's like a ripple effect when you get this card. This is a card of balance and harmony. By you removing yourself, you actually force your person to get their life together, to recognize that they need to take accountability for their actions. There's always two sides of the street, and I'm not here to take anyone's side. I'm here to understand what's going on right now. So looking at the energy of how you feel about your person, they shocked you. They broke down something that was really stable and true, but the twin flame dynamic is to make sure that all of the stuff that could get in the way of the relationship being a long-term relationship, it needs to be processed before you fully commit to something. That's why it kind of breaks down right at the beginning. But that Five of Swords indicates that you're worried. You worry that you and your person can never truly build back the way it was. But that, again, is the point. You're going to build back stronger. Not the way it was. It's going to be different. You're both going to be mature for this experience. And also not get complacent with each other's emotions, not take each other for granted. Some relationships take each other for granted. Twin flames, once they do the healing, they never do. They're tight. And you've got a Ten of Cups here, so I feel you and your person have the potential, so much potential here for a long-term commitment. However, it's about coming into balance. It's about, recognizing the effort needs to be a two-way street, not like one-sided. Breadcrumbing, things like that. So if you've experienced that, your person is trying to recalibrate their energy. And I do feel there is going to be an honest, open conversation with your person in your future, because this is a card of wanting to find a solution. Justice card seeks to understand and lead with truth and find a solution. So I feel this person, they're going to tell you something that perhaps they've never confided in anyone before. But, this card indicates they come in truth. They are coming into harmony and balance in their life. And I feel like they're trying really hard to open up. As you can see there, there is a shell, so quite closed, this person. But also, very interesting, I rarely see this symbol like I'm seeing it right now, because I'm seeing it in the water as well, almost identical, and it's turning into a donut. Random, I know, but I'm just being given this energy of this person always reached for the quick fix in life. And now when they've experienced true love, because they've got the Lover's card, this is how they feel about you. They feel like you are their match. They feel like, they have a contract with you, a divine soul contract that they can feel. They're trying to understand it. But, the donut can indicate that it's easier to go for the quick fix. It's easier not to do the spiritual work. It's easier to live a life without attachments. But I feel this person is not enjoying that anymore, because this is a card of getting serious, of being honest with oneself. The Justice card reveals that an outcome will be determined from decisions and actions that they have made. So I feel this person is now being reminded that they're in the place they're in right now because of their actions. And now they need to think about their decisions for their future so they can change, or at least indicate what they truly want. And I feel like they want to be honest. I feel like they want balance. And I feel they actually want to take accountability for their actions, because I feel there is an undercurrent, and I'm going to pull a card on it because I feel this energy of a bit of a misunderstanding at first. But let me just see that. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords, Knight of Swords. This person, the energy from a Ten of Swords, of course, is betrayal. Or a very stressful, challenging, traumatic experience where something ended. They may have even sacrificed, you know, a part of themselves to be involved in something, maybe in a high-level commitment before they even met you, but it came to such a problematic kind of ending that they always felt like they didn't want to have any ties. They just were not looking for love. Ten of Swords is a very painful ending. But also it can be a point of epiphany where they need to make some lifestyle choices and changes with a Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords is someone who's a warrior, who's been through some stuff, who's very brave, who may have even made a hasty decision based on their pain. And I feel this person is acknowledging that. I just want to see what this cause and effect is about, because this person is kind of like assessing what their actions have led them to in this connection, because this is how they feel about you. But they're also thinking about your actions, and they're thinking about the whole kind of like frequency that they share with you. They may not see it as a frequency, but they see it as a bond. And as you can see, we've got musical notes there. So I feel like they're fine-tuning their thoughts to be really aware of how their actions led to the end of this and how painful it was. Also, I feel there's something here this person regrets saying. They said it in haste, and they really didn't mean it. They said it to keep the boundary and barrier between you both at a distance. This person made sure they pushed you away because you got too close. Again, you know, there is no excuse. Everyone should take accountability for their actions. I'm not here to condone how something was conducted, but at the same time, I feel this person regrets something they said in haste, and they will address it. They will talk to you about this, and they will actually explain themselves. We do have the Fool card here. Now, this is a very interesting Fool card. As you can see, there's this figure that has a buttercup. It's a small buttercup there, and a beautiful bird as well. So this can be an indication of freedom, of like, you know, living life, simple energy. But then, of course, there is the temptation of an even bigger buttercup right there, okay? And it's attached to a crocodile. So it can indicate that this person feels that to reach for a greater love story has a lot of risk that perhaps they were not willing to take because of their previous experiences. I mean, they got the Ten of Swords for a reason. Hurt people, and I hate this sentence really, but hurt people tend to be like, I don't need anybody. I don't want you. I don't need your help. Stay away. I don't want you to see me grieving or wounded or vulnerable. They project as being super strong. They have a bravado. So I feel there is like a breaking down of ego going on in this connection, and a recognition that this person was afraid to take a risk, and their fear led them to almost like flatlining the connection. Because they got the Fool card and the Lovers. So they are aware there is a deep love in this connection that no one else can offer. But the Lovers card, of course, is a choice card. It means choice. It used to be called choice. So I feel this person made choices in a way where they allowed their fear to take over. And I feel with the Fool card can be like hasty decision, or a decision made from an immature viewpoint, for example, because the Fool card means there was so much potential. There was a lot of fun there. It presented a new journey. I feel this person actually wants to have a new experience with you. I feel like they want to start again. But again, I would say there is still an undercurrent of overthinking and fear in this connection that's present on both sides, maybe for different reasons, but I feel there is a learning, a cycle of knowledge occurring before you can both come together in a union. I mean, the Lovers card is there. They love you. So if you're questioning that, I mean, I feel like this person definitely loves you, but I do feel because of the cards that you've got with that Five of Swords, there's going to be this energy of like the damage has been done and you're healing from that and you want to move on from this, but you are afraid or you're worried or you feel that there is a hidden motive why this person would come back. But always remember, actions speak louder than words. If their actions are not reflected with the words that they're using, then, you know, it's a misalignment. And be cautious with your heart. You should never, of course, rush foolishly into something that you feel with an undercurrent of hesitancy is unsafe for you. Always remember that. But looking at the energy here, we've got inner teacher, which normally means you and your person are on that rite of passage, separation period to be independent so you can come back together in a relationship and have a new start. As long as you learn the lesson, because the Hierophant is present. Now, a lot of you, because the Fool card has shown up twice and it's shown up there with the Hierophant as an outcome, a lot of you are dealing with a twin that witnessed something in their childhood and it's connected to marriage or high-level commitments, because this can be knowledge passed down from generation to generation. So it can be that there is a generational wounding or cycle of repeat that has played out or influenced this connection in some way. So, for example, if your person's parents cheated or left abruptly or were wishy-washy in and out, maybe grandparents were the same, if there was some sort of generational lineage experience happening in relationships, this is something that has influenced your person. Like they promise themselves, I'm never going to let that happen to me. But when they fall in love, it's a different story. You cannot control love. But as soon as you love to the depths of love with a twin flame, of course, it will amplify fear. So I feel this person is learning how their fear prevented them from opening up truly to, number one, their authentic self, because they denied their feelings. The first person they lied to was themselves, because they knew that they had feelings. But they're like, you know what? It's like they're talking themselves out of it. No, I don't need anybody. I'm good. And that is exactly the same as what I did when I met my twin. I didn't realize I was lying to myself, but I was aware that I loved this person, my twin, so deeply that it scared the bejeebies out of me, to the point where every time I wanted to express how I felt in intimate moments, everything got caught up in my throat and I either changed the subject or I said something that would push this person away. And I didn't realize until years later when I had dissected all the stuff, the conversations. So for example, one evening there was a wonderful storm outside and, the rain was pattering on the window, very romantic scenario. I'm having a deep conversation with my twin and they say something, and it was something simple, like I could live like this forever. And I was like, well, don't get too comfortable because, this isn't a thing. And they were like, what? And in that moment, they're like, oh my God, I destroyed a completely beautiful, intimate moment. When really I wanted to say, I believe in forever. But because I had had an experience where I thought I believed in forever and it was smashed to the ground and my heart was trampled with it, I thought, you know what? There's no such thing as forever. Life has shown me that I do not deserve a happy ever after, and this person is probably just giving me the same old stuff, and then it's just going to end the same way. So as a protective measure, I was like, stop that nonsense. Stop talking like this. Even though my heart wanted to say, yes, I believe in this. I see my future with you. I want this future with you. All that emotion got caught in my throat, and those words came out, and I was like, what? There was also an inner dialogue as those words came out. Shut up. What are you saying? This is not what you want. So, I witnessed myself pushing my twin away. I didn't want to. And of course, that was a very immature me. I didn't mean to say something like that. I didn't even think about. I said it in jest. I was like, joking with it. It wasn't like I was like, you stop that right now. It was kind of like, this isn't a thing. And, kind of like just brushing it off. And my twin was like, well, these are my feelings. And then my twin shut down immediately because they were like, oh my gosh, I thought we were on a trajectory of something serious here. But, sorry, I got the wrong message. So mixed signals. And again, that's not to excuse the behavior. That's not to excuse, mixed signals. Don't ever excuse mixed signals. That is to acknowledge that sometimes mixed signals are because a person is battling with something and you're getting caught up in their storm. So just be aware of it. Humans are very complex, and I'm here to understand the complexities of the human psyche so that I can understand things from a different viewpoint as well as my own. And of course, we can only seek to understand. We can never truly walk in another person's shoes. We can seek to understand, and that's what I do. So I'm seeing right now your person trying to figure things out. I feel on a deeper level, you're really trying to figure things out, and you have been so hurt that you are kind of maybe even becoming the runner in this as you detach. So that's why I feel a strong affinity to you, my beautiful Pisceans, because I feel you needing to protect yourself, and I feel you needing to quieten the hurt, try to articulate yourself through all of this, but at the same time be like, I'm fine, I'm good, you're not going to see me cry, you're not going to see my pain. And that pain may not have even been caused fully by your twin. It's triggered and amplified it, played it out again, replicated it, but it may have been something that occurred in your past, because as you can see, there's a shadow here, and that's only why I'm mentioning it. May not resonate with everyone, but I have to honor it because it's coming out, and it must resonate with someone, otherwise it wouldn't come out in this particular reading. But we live and learn, and that's what this card is about, learning. And I feel this energy is like setting oneself free, taking a risk. I feel this person, they, hesitated from taking the risk out of fear. But this is a different kind of Fool card. Fool cards can be read in many different ways in accordance with the cards that are around them. And these cards highlight someone learning and wanting to take a risk on happy ever after. And it can happen. But the Two of Pentacles indicates there must be balance. And both parties must feel secure. No breadcrumbing, taking accountability, showing up for each other, and saying, you know what, I'm going to be consistent. Getting back into the rhythm of each other. No more indecision. Facing it head on. Being a team together. But I feel right now your twin flame dynamic is at the crux of a decision. Should I stay? Should I go? Can this work? Can I overcome my fears? Ten of Cups says there's a lot of depth to this connection. And of course, as you can see, this card is like, there's plenty more fish in the sea, but there's only one twin flame for you. And there is only one you for your twin. So this is about finding your way back towards each other. It can happen, but there are a lot of dynamics and factors to understand about yourself and about the other before you can both make that decision. The Two of Pentacles is the energy that makes me feel right now that there will be some sort of communication, but you may repeat a cycle with this person. This is going to be a project. I'm going to pull a card on the Two of Pentacles because this can indicate adaptability. You're both different people having, a different experience together. When you meet a person, they come from a very different background than you do. They've had different experiences, but very similar, like messages and lessons in those. And you're trying to make adjustments to make it work. Of course, vibrationally, it will be a little bit like off because you're matching completely. But I feel you can both adapt and have a route where this can develop in very unexpected ways. But also, I feel this is about security, feeling secure in a relationship. Because there is either some sort of trust issue or there is an abandonment issue here. There's definitely some sort of cycle of pain that has played out here. So I'm just going to pull a card on that Two of Pentacles. We've got the Strength card. So that is about overcoming obstacles or fears. It's about having that inner calm, the courage to take that risk, that leap of faith in a relationship. It is also about ego. The strength to ascend ego and bravado and be vulnerable and say, this is me in all of my authenticity. You're going to see the vulnerable parts of me, the parts of me that I don't love, the parts that I'm learning to love, and the parts that I have learned to love fully, because we are all a work in process. We've got the Nine of Cups and the King of Pentacles. This can indicate this can become a serious relationship. You can get what you wish for, but it is going to require a lot of work. And I feel like you showed up and you put so much work into this. Your person is playing catch up. But both of you are in a period of coming home to self first, to focus on your sense of purpose. And I feel this is about finding contentment. You know, happiness comes from within. And you can achieve your desire in this connection. King of Pentacles can indicate, you know, investment, value, loyalty, responsibility, duty, all of the things that come with, you know, a high-level commitment. So I feel both of you can find your way back towards each other. I would say that, you know, you'll hear from your person again. I feel like they're sitting on the fence right now of a message. You know, this person will tell you that they've written a message that they've edited and then re-edited. And, you know, they will tell you that they had that message written for a long time. But also I feel that they're working towards creating a foundation of trust in a relationship for you to believe them, to like earn back your trust as well. But I also feel that there is this energy of still not quite feeling secure in the relationship. So you may repeat a cycle. It feels like they are a little bit inconsistent still. Whenever Two of Pentacles shows up as an outcome, I would say just be mindful that this person, you know, I mean, they could be really busy as well, but they need to create space. But also I feel there is an energy of needing to make a decision, but still being a bit inconsistent, still out of rhythm. So I'm just going to go and find some final cards for you. Now, these cards are conversations that have been left unsaid, okay? So let's see what they have for you. I mean, this is kind of reflective of what we've just discussed in your reading. I'm emotionally unavailable right now. And I would say, because the Fool card is there and the Justice, which means they're like recalibrating, I would say, yeah, that is true, that they are finding their way towards being comfortable with their emotions. I mean, they do have feelings of love. But the Fool card is this desire to take a risk, but feel like, you know, they're ready for it. They feel unsafe, a desire to be independent. So it kind of is like these two things. Independence or love, potential, but choices. It's like they're weighing up their options right now, but you are not an option. You're the choice, right? So if anyone, I always say this, twin flame or not, if anyone has a question mark over you, you remind yourself that you're a whole sentence and there is no question mark. You take back your power and you just do you. Prioritize your own needs. It says, I distance myself to avoid my feelings. And I feel this person definitely did. And we have, I need time for healing and learning. So will you hear from this person again? The answer is yes. They are learning, they are healing something, but at the same time, it feels like not never, just not right now. This reading is for the next 6 weeks. Okay, so I have to give it to you straight. I feel there are messages of love coming in. I feel this person may tell you they miss you. They may tell you as well that they have been learning about psychology. There's a reason for that. There's something in their family that they're trying to really understand. I'm just going to go and get some final cards here as well from this deck. This can open up things that perhaps have not been thought about in this twin flame dynamic that didn't come up in the reading. We've got attachment, we've got hesitation, and we got stuck in limbo. Yeah, I mean, all of those things you don't probably need me to tell you, but we've got stuck in limbo. Okay, so hangman energy, someone feeling like they need to learn more. Life has been turned upside down. You're learning a lot more as well about this connection, but it is to attain a higher frequency and a higher knowledge, a higher connection to self. So it says here, you're stuck in limbo, filled with doubt or confusion regarding your relationship with someone you believe is a twin flame. Break this cycle. You're breaking the cycle. You've got the Tower. You're doing exactly what is required of you in a twin flame dynamic. You're the catalyst for change. Remember the magnets. As soon as you're breaking that, your person's going to come closer. That's why they're showing up with the Justice card to make things right and find a solution. The Lovers card, they love you. They know this. And of course, the Fool card is like, I need to take a risk though, and it feels like I'm still hesitant. What is it? I need to find the root, the cause, learn more about it, process it, let it go, be free of it, and then dive into the relationship. We've also got hesitation. And it says here, their hesitation is causing inaction due to fears of rejection because of their previous behavior, or it may be that they don't fully trust the connection. That came out in this reading. Every twin flame has a different dynamic, and this one is about trust, to feel secure in a relationship. And insecurities do not come from just like living, experiencing hardship, experiencing or witnessing painful situations or breakups, or, you know, being broken into tiny little pieces in previous relationships before they even meet you. These are things that shape us and form us. So I feel this person and you've both had experiences that pretty much were very traumatic, and you were healing from it, and then suddenly you're thrust together as twins and you're trying to work this thing out. This is a time to be independent, to love yourself fiercely, to find out who you are, what you want, and enjoy life in the moment. And the universe will bring you back together. We've also got attachment there. You know, when we get attached to a person that we love, sometimes, you know, over-attachment can be painful. So then people do push back and say, whoa, I feel too deep. Can't do this. And I feel like you did get too close to this person. In their eyes, there's never such a thing as getting too close when you're with a twin. But it's to acknowledge that there's still independence and that this love is not scary. It is healing. It is enriching, supportive. But it says here, get to know your attachment pattern so you can be more conscious in your romantic relationships and stop self-sabotaging. I mentioned at the beginning, there's self-sabotage here in this connection, okay? So you may be very aware of this, and it is because of their attachments to things, or even to the ego death going on here, okay? Really hard to navigate. So I'm sending you a huge hug out there. And if you are a cross-watcher, a hug out there to you as well. I can see that both of you, both sides, are grappling with this, trying to understand it, and both of you trying to find a way back towards each other, which can happen. So I'll leave it there. I'm just going to go and get a trinket or rune before we close. Ooh, okay, so we've got a dragon, fierce, fiery, protective, overcoming, almost like, you know, the phoenix rising from the ashes. I feel both of you have had to be strong because life taught you to be that way. And then there is this energy of protection or barriers that you need to overcome. Love can feel scary when you feel vulnerable based on previous experiences. So I feel there is a really heightened energy of, you know, facing the fears and overcoming them, eradicating them. Also, really interesting, and I didn't see it like this, you probably are not seeing it the same way as I am because I'm at an angle, right? But when I see this from how I'm showing you, this looks like the yin-yang symbol. The tail there, okay? So I feel this is about balance. Both of you being a vibrational match and trying to change frequencies at this time. And finally, we have emotions. Is it emotions? So I'm just getting a lot of like cathartic emotions like pouring out. But I'm also getting this energy of wood. What's this? I mean, this is the wood rune, but I'm also getting this energy of like water and wood. So either some of you are like a water dragon or a wood dragon, or maybe you are one and your partner's the other. I'm not sure, but I mean, this is, well, it's a rune of energy, possibility, of, you know, rapport, knowledge, love over lust, solid, you know, to feel secure. Wood is to feel secure. But interesting that I'm also getting a water energy. I mean, this is not a water rune. The water rune has a very long edge to it. But it can be that, you know, something that you felt was solid is now suddenly adrift. Maybe it's that. But I do feel that in time, you can both find your way back towards each other. But now's the time for you. So embrace that. I'll leave it there, my beautiful Pisceans. You know, I really do say that I wish that none of this reading resonated, because, of course, then you would be with your twin and happy ever afters would be occurring right now. But, if you found yourself in the dynamic of the separation period and you haven't come back together in union with your person, then of course I hope something in this reading did resonate to help you in some way navigate this often very challenging, isolating, and sometimes lonely experience. Okay, so I'll leave it there. Thank you so much, and love and light.